In this video, I'm going to show you my own special techniques for making lo-fi beats more interesting and authentic sounding. You can also get a free sample pack from this video. Just watch through the video, collect the download code throughout, and then use the link in the description. A lot of this technique has to do with placing your sample clips or MIDI notes in a slip mode. This just means not snapping all your samples to the grid lines. With a simple kick pattern, notice how I take one kick and move it slightly off grid. I take a similar approach with the hi-hats. You can do this with MIDI notes as well. I can place the hi-hat as a basic 16th note pattern and nudge all of them to be slightly late off the grid. This is what gives the hi-hat a behind the beat sound, which gives it a more human feel. I can also adjust the clip gain of every other hi-hat in the pattern, and also alter its pitch down about a semitone, which gives it a great accented feel. You can then also go around to other clips in the pattern and nudge them around even more to give it a more unique feel. You can also make a track for reversing the hi-hat, which adds a nice dynamic element to the beat. I've even found that reversing the hi-hat can make it sound like a shaker. Another tip for this kind of genre is using more organic sounds, like vinyl crackle or the sound of city ambience, things like that. But I tend to use Foley sounds like actual percussion samples, so there's more rhythm to the way I might add the sound of vinyl crackle to the track. I also make sure to group these new tracks so I can high pass out any sub rumble that would otherwise make the mix more cloudy, leaving room for the kick in the sub. You can also find great samples from just old footage and records, which will add their own vintage sound to your track.
Two restraining elements in jazz are the form and the changes. Two restraining elements in jazz are the form and the changes.
Ambient environmental tracks are also useful elements in a lo-fi beat. And while these things sound like noise floors, you can use them as a foundation to create percussive effects. For instance, Ableton's beat repeat can re-trigger the audio of its source, adding a subtle textural pattern to your main drum beat. And if I want something more intense, I'll just take an LFO and chop the signal to create a cool syncopation. You can also use recordings from mechanical environments like factories and industrial settings, because the sounds tend to have random clangy noises and other transients. So I just process the sound and then warp the transients into their random grid markers, basically quantizing the texture to make it part of the beat. So now let's get to my final tip for making your lo-fi drums better, and that has to do with sidechain compression. Since we've talked about texture tracks so much, let's duck them out by triggering a compressor every time the kick or snare hits. Notice this has a pumping effect, which adds a great dynamic sound to the beat and also kind of fills it in sonically. I hope you found any of these tips useful to make your lo-fi drums more special and unique. You can access a free sample pack using the link in the description, which will take you to Beach Road's my own sample store. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you found this video useful. I'll see you all soon, and as always, have fun making music.